The United States and China are locked in a trade war. This is a battle fought with tariffs, which are kind of like taxes on goods traded between countries. In a dramatic escalation, the United States recently raised tariffs on Chinese goods to a staggering 245%. This means that importing certain products from China has become much more expensive for American businesses and consumers. This move has sent shockwaves through the global economy and, honestly, has raised concerns about a full-blown trade war between the world's two largest economies. This trade war is about more than just economics. It reflects deeper tensions between the United States and China over issues like technology, security, and global influence. The United States government argues that these tariffs are necessary to protect American jobs and industries from unfair Chinese trade practices. They also express concerns about China's growing technological prowess and its access to critical materials. China, however, views these tariffs as an attempt to contain its rise, and maintains that it is committed to free trade and a rules-based international order. The stakes are really high for both countries and, honestly, for the rest of the world. A prolonged trade war could damage the global economy, disrupt supply chains, and lead to higher prices for consumers. It could also further strain relations between the United States and China, making it more difficult to cooperate on pressing global challenges. Imagine you want to buy a toy car from another country. If your country has a tariff on toy cars from that country, you'll have to pay extra money to import that toy car. That extra money is the tariff. Governments use tariffs for different reasons. They might want to protect their own industries from foreign competition. Tariffs can make imported goods more expensive, which can encourage people to buy domestically produced goods instead. Sometimes tariffs are used as a way to negotiate better trade deals with other countries. In the case of the United States and China, tariffs have become a major point of contention. The United States has imposed tariffs on billions of dollars worth of Chinese goods, and China has retaliated with tariffs of its own. These tariffs have increased the cost of doing business for companies on both sides of the Pacific, and have contributed to rising prices for consumers. The United States-China trade war didn't erupt overnight. It has been a slow-burning conflict with roots dating back several years. Here's a simplified timeline of key events. Early 2023. The United States begins imposing tariffs on Chinese solar panels and washing machines, citing unfair trade practices. China responds with tariffs on United States agricultural products. Mid-2023. The trade war intensifies as the United States and China exchange tariffs on billions of dollars worth of goods, including electronics, machinery, and agricultural products. Late 2023. The United States and China reach a Phase 1 trade deal, but tensions remain high. Early 2024. The COVID-19 pandemic disrupts global trade and further strains United States-China relations. Late 2024. The United States imposes additional tariffs on Chinese goods, citing national security concerns. China retaliates with tariffs on United States products. April 2025. The United States raises tariffs on Chinese goods to a maximum of 245%. China responds with tariffs of up to 125% on United States goods and announces export bans on rare earth metals crucial for high-tech industries. The United States and China have distinct narratives about the trade war. The United States government argues that China engages in unfair trade practices that harm American businesses and workers. They point to China's large trade surplus with the United States, forced technology transfers, and intellectual property theft as evidence of these unfair practices. The Trump administration's America First trade policy aims to protect American jobs and reduce dependence on China. Additionally, the United States expresses concerns about its reliance on China for critical materials used in defense and high-tech manufacturing, viewing this dependence as a national security vulnerability. China, on the other hand, views the United States' actions as protectionist and a threat to the global trading system. They argue that they have implemented significant economic reforms and are committed to free trade and a rules-based international order. China maintains that the United States is attempting to contain its rise as a global power and is using the trade war as leverage in broader geopolitical competition. The ongoing trade war between the United States and China is having tangible consequences for people in both countries and around the world. In the United States, businesses that rely on Chinese imports face higher costs, which they may pass on to consumers in the form of higher prices. The trade war has also disrupted supply chains, leading to shortages of certain goods and uncertainty for businesses. American farmers who have been hit hard by Chinese retaliatory tariffs have experienced declining exports and financial hardship. In China, exporters are struggling to find alternative markets for their products as the United States market shrinks. The trade war has also contributed to slower economic growth in China, although the Chinese government has taken steps to mitigate the impact. The trade war has also fueled tensions between the two countries, making it more difficult to cooperate on global challenges such as climate change and nuclear proliferation. At the heart of the United States-China trade war is a clash of perspectives on fairness and respect in the global trading system. The United States argues that China has benefited disproportionately from the current system and has not played by the rules. They accuse China of unfair trade practices, such as intellectual property theft and forced technology transfers, which they believe have given Chinese companies an unfair advantage. The United States maintains that it is seeking a level playing field where American companies can compete fairly with their Chinese counterparts. China, however, contends that it has abided by international trade rules and has made significant progress in opening up its economy. They argue that the United States is applying double standards and is unfairly targeting China's economic practices. China believes that the United States is attempting to stifle its economic rise and maintain its global dominance. The future of the United States-China trade war remains uncertain. The two countries could continue down a path of escalation, with further tariff increases and other retaliatory measures. This scenario could lead to a prolonged trade war that damages the global economy and exacerbates tensions between the two superpowers. Alternatively, the United States and China could engage in serious dialogue to address their trade grievances and find common ground. This would require both sides to show flexibility and a willingness to compromise. A negotiated solution would not be easy, but it would be in the best interests of both countries and the world. A trade agreement that addresses the concerns of both sides could help to stabilize the global economy, reduce uncertainty for businesses, and improve United States-China relations. However, achieving such an agreement will require leadership, diplomacy, and a commitment to finding common ground.